What's up? It's Marco, Sage of Soccer, and today I'm going to talk about the U.S. men's national team goalkeeper situation. And the goalkeeper situation is kind of weird for this team because it's seemingly gone from a position of strength and the real thing that American players were known for to what's honestly a bit of a weakness for us right now. And it's honestly not even a bad thing because I don't think our goalkeeper quality has even gotten worse. I still think guys like Steffen, Turner, Horvath, they're probably at like the same level as like Guzan, an old Friedel, an old Howard. Probably not prime Howard, prime Friedel, but it's not exactly much worse. But at the same time, the team has gotten better, and it's looking like it's lagging behind because of that. And on top of that, with everybody not playing, it's seemingly become a worry for us lately. So I want to go through all of our goalkeepers right now, all of them who are really in the mix for the national team, and talk about their strengths, weaknesses, and who I would bring to the World Cup at the current moment. Now, things are obviously going to change as the year goes on, and how moves shake up, but I just want to talk about it right now. So first, we got Zack Steffen. And I think we all saw the mistake that he made in the FA Cup this weekend. And he's not playing at all, and he's clearly really rusty. Despite that, I still think he's our highest ceiling goalkeeper. Like, when we talk about his play with his feet, it's good. He is good at that for a reason. Like, he's a solid goalkeeper, but he just needs to play. And he hasn't been playing at all. And because of that, at this point, he might not be a top 3 goalkeeper right now. He would be if he played for the next 3 weeks, but at the current second, he's not. And also, we have to remember his injury issues, because they are a thing. Next, we got Matt Turner, who I think would be our best shot stopper. I think that's a good statement I'm fine with making. However, he's pretty weak with his distribution. However, if we stick with Miles Robinson and Walker Zimmerman at the back, distribution isn't exactly going to be an issue because we won't be able to play out the back anyway, that's not the way we exactly want to look at it, but when you look at our goalkeepers of the past, like, we weren't really that mad when Brad Friedel and Tim Howard weren't exactly Ederson. Like it's not going to end up being an issue if we're not able to play out the back anyway, and it's looking like we might not be able to play out the back. If we recall John Brooks, if Chris Richards gets back to the team, we will be fine, and this will be an issue. However, at the current second, I mean, it's not exactly a thing we're worried about right now. So keep that in mind with Matt Turner. Also, he is currently injured, and he is unlikely to unseat Aaron Ramsdale at Arsenal, and he might be in the same exact situation as Steffen come November. Next, we got Ethan Horvath, a solid shot stopper, and he's good at distribution with his feet when he's playing consistently. However, he never plays consistently. So, when he's not playing, you can't expect him to be good with his feet. So if we put him into a game, ice cold, as he probably will be, he's going to be making some issues with his feet. However, if he starts playing, I expect those issues to go away. As we saw in the Nations League last summer, he was pretty rusty in the friendly against Switzerland leading up to the tournament, then got better against Mexico, and then by Costa Rica, he was looking fine with his distribution. So, should he keep playing, and should we play him the entire tournament? I think he'd be good by the end of the group stage. And also, his shot stopping never gets worse. His shot stopping, his ability to come out of the box, everything, all the goalkeeper parts of being a goalkeeper, he's good at them even when he's ice cold and not playing at all. And that's something we have to remember. Next, outside of our top 3 goalkeepers, we've got some MLS guys we need to talk about. Gabriel Slonina, he's been a very good shot stopper at 17, and he's broken into the Chicago Fire team. Could very well get some international looks. Probably in the Nations League, a time where you want to give him a run out. However, he is still 17, and he still has some inconsistencies, obviously, with his age. I don't really trust him with his feet just yet. I probably will in 1 or 2 years. But at the current moment, I feel like he'd still make 1 or 2 mistakes, so I don't feel like that's something we can rely on. However, something to keep a note of Gabriel Slonina, he might be our top keeper who's getting consistent playing time right now. And he might be that come the World Cup. And while I wouldn't say we just throw him to the Wolves, it's something we have to keep in mind. Next, we got Sean Johnson. Solid goalkeeper, but pretty unremarkable. Probably wouldn't be a liability at all in games, but he's not somebody who will win you a game. And going into the World Cup, he's probably would be around like 24th, 25th best starting goalkeeper in the tournament. Probably not a top 32 goalkeeper overall, but at the same time, I don't think he'll make a big mistake. And I feel like Matt Turner has, Zack Steffen has, Horvath surprisingly hasn't, but Sean Johnson, he's a reliable option. Next we got Brad Guzan. Experienced, he's been at 2 World Cups, but he's pretty clearly past it at this point. And Bill Hamid, who I find him to be a very solid goalkeeper. I might rate him above Sean Johnson, but we have to keep in mind his issues with injuries. So for us right now, out of the goalkeepers we have, I feel like Matt Turner, Ethan Horvath, and Zack Steffen are the difference makers. Guys who can win us games by making crazy saves. Then guys who are playing right now, the 4 I haven't listed, Slonina, Sean Johnson, Guzan, and Hamid, they're all playing right now. Go with their feet, Ethan Horvath, Steffen. I feel like Bill Hamid is good with his feet as well. I'd like to give Gabriel Slonina a look because I think he's got the talent, but it's just inconsistent. He might have that consistency down by the time the World Cup starts. So keep him in mind as well. And then with injury-prone goalkeepers, Steffen and Hamid. So because of those injury proneness, I feel like we can't have both Steffen and Hamid in the team. I wanted to mention Bill Hamid because I think he's really good, but you can't have both of them, and I'm taking Zack Steffen over Bill Hamid. But, man, it's really sad. Assuming that Matt Turner moves to Arsenal, like, all of our top goalkeepers are going to be backups. And I think we need to have at least one goalkeeper who's playing week in, week out. So for the rest of our goalkeepers, I mean, Brad Guzan does actually have World Cup experience, but I feel like he's pretty clearly past it. And at the same time, young Gabriel Slonina, like, getting him experience at a World Cup might be just as valuable as having that World Cup that Guzan has. And I think at this point, Slonina's the better goalkeeper than Guzan. So I believe taking Slonina would be the better option than having Guzan. Like, and honestly, we could just add Guzan to like the staff as like a goalkeeping coach assistant or whatever. We just bring him and have him in the room if that's what we need. But like, I don't feel like there's much of a point in having Guzan on the roster. So then Sean Johnson, I think he's, again, a pretty reliable option who's consistent. And if we want him on the team, if we want like a high floor goalkeeper on the team, we need to bring him. Because I feel like he's probably the most likely to not make a mistake. And I think he's had some mistakes in the past, but he's been playing pretty well. Like, as he's got older, he's gotten a lot more consistent. And I feel really good about having Sean Johnson. Ethan Horvath, if he has like playing time week in, week out, he might be the number 1. But I feel like we can't expect that. But at the same time, he's proven that he can come into games ice cold, and that's something that we just saw with Steffen. That's not exactly easy to do, so he's very valuable there. Matt Turner, very good shot stopping. He had his worst games in January, and that was when he was cold, coming into the MLS, because the MLS was an off season, so he wasn't at his best. I think he's our best goalkeeper best shot stopper when he's playing, but he's going to be sitting behind Ramsdale, and he wasn't that good when he came in cold. And then Zack Steffen, highest ceiling out of all of our goalkeepers, but he might have the lowest floor out of all of our top 3 players. I think he's our best goalkeeper when he's playing, but when he isn't, he's been pretty bad, and probably not above Sean Johnson and Gabriel Slonina's level. And we also have to keep in mind his injury record. So looking at our goalkeepers, I think we need somebody who's playing come November, which I can't believe I have to say that, but I think we need a goalkeeper who's playing. Like, and this is just something I'm going to say. If somebody is a backup goalkeeper, they're not going to be someone who's able to win us a World Cup. Like, just think about that. Like, we're going to be going up against Wales. I'm not exactly worried about Danny Ward or Wayne Hennessy stopping us from winning a game. Like, so I really don't think it's that big a deal if we leave off a Steffen or a Turner or a Horvath. Because as good as they are, if they're not playing, they're not going to be good. Except for maybe Horvath. But speaking of that, because of how good he is as a backup when he comes in, I really want to have Horvath there as our backup. Because if something happens to our goalkeeper, which it very well might, I think having that backup there who we know can come in and do well is going to be very important. So I think right now, I want to have Sean Johnson because he's playing. And I think he's better to bring than Slonina because as young as he is, I don't want to put that pressure on him. I don't want to force him into a mistake and just ruin his confidence. We've seen that happen with goalkeepers before. Think Scott Carson. Oh, man. A lot of Man City goalkeeper talk today. But do you remember him in 2000? Well, it was 2008 qualifiers. It might have been 2007. I don't remember. well, not that I was watching it, but I looked back and saw those games. But anyway, I don't think we should bring a teenager, especially when there's a very good chance they might actually end up having to play. So I want to bring Sean Johnson. I want to bring Ethan Horvath. So honestly, it comes down to choosing a starter between Turner and Steffen. And whoever's not the starter probably ends up getting left off. And I think right now, with how Zack Steffen is playing when he's completely out of form, I would take Matt Turner. So at the very second, assuming Matt Turner's healthy and playing with New England, I would go with Matt Turner, Ethan Horvath, and Sean Johnson. Now, things will change before the World Cup starts. Steffen already has a talk of a loan move. Matt Turner's going to be going to Arsenal, so their situation might just be flipped. You could expect Ethan Horvath to want to get some playing time. He might even move to the MLS. And maybe Gabriel Slonina continues to develop, and it becomes undeniable, and you can't leave him off. So there's a lot of things that could change, and I'm really looking forward to the Nations League and seeing what we do with goalkeepers there. But right now, as things stand, I'm rocking with Matt Turner, Ethan Horvath, and Sean Johnson. So yeah, that's all I have to talk about the goalkeeper situation. Probably going to run down this with center backs. Might do this with all the positions because it was pretty fun to do. And yeah, that's all I have to talk about right now. See ya.